Welcome back to my channel. So tonight I want to discuss this whole Iran war thing and where things are going and some thoughts. So basically, we have the largest military in the world, the most advanced military in the world, and you have all this talk about asymmetrical warfare. And I just want to talk about what I think this means to me. So basically, for those not fully familiar with asymmetrical warfare, the theory is that if you have a ship out in the ocean that's worth $100 billion, $1 trillion, $1 billion, and you have someone with rockets, let's say worth $100,000, $40,000, 100,000 versus $1 billion, that if they launch 100 rockets, that if one rocket hits the boat, then the boat will go down. So the implication is that it's not about having 99 rockets that hit. It only needs one rocket to do the job successfully. And that's where we are. And you look at these Arab countries, they gave $1 trillion, billions of dollars to Trump, gave him a new airplane. And now they're stuck. They're in a situation where they've taken a lot of fire and they've basically run out of weaponry or defense missiles or whatever. And they're asking, can we get some re-up? And they're basically told to sit down and shut up like the dogs that they are. And the implication there being they're basically like human shields. And what do I want to impart onto the listener is that you can be rich, you can have money, and you think you can buy a military like one of these rich Middle Eastern countries. You think you can be so rich and pay everything and pay this and pay that. But when push comes to shove, the country that was sanctioned for 100 years, this country that has been oppressed, the country that the women and children have been affected by the sanctions, when those poors get angry and they strike back, those rich people realize they're nothing but a bunch of rich bitches. That's what's happening. And it's so poetic that the whole world has hated Iran, has slept on them, has shit on them. Today on Twitter, today in a lot of American media, today, a lot of American politicians, a lot of strategists are saying that they think that this war is impossible, that it's impossible for the Americans to just pull the cat out of the hat and come out with the victory. And what they're saying is that Marco Rubio, he came onto the TV and he said, oh, it takes us 6 months to build this weapon, and it takes them 6 days to build this. We can build this. They can build so much faster, basically how incompetent they are. And that there's this new thing I've been seeing, which is new to me, is that there's a mathematical equation to war and this conflict. That if you're able to produce so many weapons versus how much they're able to build defense systems, who will win? Now, you might be thinking, you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. You might be thinking, that's interesting. I never thought about that. Now, if you look at Pakistan versus Afghanistan, what is it? You have the slightly richer country of Pakistan versus Afghanistan. And Afghanistan, like the Vietnamese, just have to hold out. They just have to stay in the game long enough, and little groups, little guerrilla groups will give the bigger country the hard time. And that hard time will bleed dry the bigger country. So what I've noticed in the month of Ramadan is that sometimes the poor people, their success is in not having all the worldly riches and being so successful. The fact that when you mess with the poors, the people that have nothing to lose, when you put a rat with its back against the corner, what do? When you put a rat against a wall, what do? They fight like hell. And that's what's happening. You see, Donald Trump is nothing but a bully. And the Americans and the Republicans and MAGA are nothing but bullies. They started a war against a country that didn't on paper have anything to do with them. They just attacked another country, not in self-defense, in a preemptive strike. And it's disgusting. War is disgusting. The number one thing that Donald Trump got elected for, in my opinion, was the fact that he was not going to do more regime change wars. Now, what's the most vile part about all this is that they made fun of Biden for his withdrawal from Afghanistan. They said how it was the biggest embarrassment to America. But when the Americans are probably not able to get the W, to not get the victory, they will lie and gaslight the public into saying that they won. That is what is the most shittiest part about this all. It's the psychological breakdown of the citizens. So, if you're like me and every day you just feel more and more like you want to puke, and you're sick and tired of how these leaders are so disgusting and have no fear of the Lord, that people aren't watching what they're doing. If you're like that and you're feeling that way too, please leave a like and subscribe. And thanks for watching.